Hello, gamers. You know what I hate? You know what I despise the most about life? Is trying to act like we actually ever have to move on. To always improve. We live in this life where constantly we feel like we have to push ourselves to new limits. To always reach for the stars above, or whatever the hell else, what other JRPG protagonist isms, yeah, whenever they want to say and all that. And I think it's a time we return to an age of backpedaling. An age where we believe we can, while we may be able to move forward, I see the benefits in taking a couple steps back.
So, I have my new mic set up today. We are no longer using the Blue Yeti mic that I've used since I first started streaming, which actually I find works perfectly well. And I find it's very, very friendly option towards anyone starting and want like a mic that requires no confusions, no anything. We've gone to the headset gaming mic. I have no clue how this sounds on stream. But what I do know is I did a recording of this and I think this was perfect. And I figured during today's stream we would play Deadly Premonition Whistle Theme, one of my absolute favorite songs out there. And we'd be playing this for 10 hours. Well, the 10 hours version of it. We're so far like 7 minutes, or now 8 minutes, 8:01, 8:02, 8:03, 8:04, 8:05, so on and so forth there. So thank you to the Tralfaz74, we appreciate it. Here, you get a subscription, my friend, and a like for your contributions to us. Now you might be wondering, what on earth could we be reading that is so prepared for such a grandiose setup? Well, I figured I went browsing on the fanfiction.net, as the sane people usually do. And I decided to look into a story of my favorite Kingdom Hearts protagonist, Buff Riku. So this is Buff Riku Chain of Muscles by Buff Riku. An irrelevant comedy about certain muscular teenagers' journey through Castle Skyrim, or Oblivion. Read and discover how massive Riku's biceps are and how the organization is completely incompetent. Inspired by the game's repainted community. It's rated Fiction T. I don't know what the hell that means. It's a English humor parody, Riku, and bunch of other crud. It's apparently 7 chapters and 43,000 words, which I think is perfectly fair for what we're trying to achieve here. But I also decided, why not add some jump scare elements into it? So I've also, on a separate tab, pulled up these wonderful 1-hour silence broken by videos. I figure we could go ahead and start with this one. 1-hour silence occasionally broken up by Lego Yoda death sound by Brickin. I agree. Good input. Here, Brickin, you also get a subscription. and you also get a look for your contributions to this video and stream. So, but chat, I didn't just think about, like, you know, you might have noticed that my model is not at all tracking. Well, I thought, why? Why bother with this wonderful, beautiful model that I got made by Elisane on Fiverr that I absolutely loved and cherish, basically, as it has helped me start this entire journey. Why? What? I agree, Yoda. Well, I'll tell you what. Because I've decided it's trash. It's garbage. It's worthless. Why bother putting in all this work of trying to constantly fling my head back and forth, trying to, like, react and look at the screen and all that? Why put in that effort? So, I've come up with an even better rendition and project for me. Something that I have created myself that will be what we shall use going forward. So goodbye, VTuber model, and welcome me. Created by yours truly in the span of about 10 minutes ago, right before we started stream. I am Sychonias, and welcome to Buff Riku, Chain of Muscles. Now, for those that don't even know, you might be asking, what exactly is a Buff Riku? Well, I'm glad you asked. You know what? I instantly even see the benefit in this setup in the fact that y'all don't even now get to see my VTuber model whenever I occasionally look to my left and, like, I look like I'm opening my mouth wide for something to be inserted into it whenever I have to take a drink now. See, this is progression, people. This is what I mean when taking a couple steps back truly is going forward. It's just as Tzu once said, to know your enemy. I agree, Yoda. Great input. Thank you, sir. To know your true enemy, one must be able to backpedal on the battlefield. He said this while he was riding a tricycle backward and then fell off a cliff and then got shot in the eye all at the same time. It was quite brutal and quite sad. Now you might be asking though, well, Sychonias, what even is Buff Riku? I have never seen anything like a Riku on your channel. What even is this? And I'm glad you asked. There are literally none of you that are here. What Buff Riku is this young man who will be guarding my chat box for the rest of this. Here, he can even. Here, I can even move him slightly like there. So there, he's even protruding out of it. Perfect. Oh, and how could I forget, our wonderful, advisor for this stream, Shadow the Hedgehog, thank you, Yoda, great input. So Buff Riku is basically someone just at some point decided to draw Riku from Kingdom Hearts, a very handsome, wonderful, young, edgy, white-haired, or silver, depending on what you are. That basically, someone just decided, what if I just drew him buff? and gave him like an 18-pack. In other words, what if I just decided to give him the peak physical male form? And if you don't like it, or you don't appreciate it, well, that's just too goddamn bad. Because as Tzu once said on the battlefield, Your warriors should truly aspire to be like a buff Riku. This was said after, before he eventually gave the speech, and then got sent down a tricycle down into the pits of hell. So, I believe I have spent enough time reading this and giving you a lore drop. And some might ask, Sychonias, isn't this kind of like weird given this is your... You've talked about Kingdom Hearts before. Isn't this a bit bizarre that this is the first time, technically the first piece of Kingdom Hearts content on your channel? Yeah, I like to say yes. But also, here at Sychonias, we go for the bizarre. Just once, as Kevin Hart once said, please follow and subscribe to my Twitch or YouTube, or both. I would appreciate both. So you can continue getting more quality content like this going forward. Or don't. I mean, I'm not your mom. I'm your uncle. So, I believe we have stalled enough. Stalling. Thank you, Yoda. Great input. Stalling is a word. How would one even define stalling? Stall. Of a motor vehicle or its engine stop running, typically of an overload on the engine. See, I can't even say I stalled, because I'm not a car. So never mind, we're not even stalling anymore. So let's get into our beautiful, beautiful tale. Chapter 1, The Beginning of Beginnings. Thank you, Yoda. Great input. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, I can't start this. I need to eat some shrimp crackers. Shrimp crackers. I'm currently eating, shrimp chips baked from Calbee. So, Chapter 1, Beginning of Beginnings. Riku woke suddenly, as if he knew he had slept through his alarm on the day of his final exams. Oh, that Riku. His bright blue eyes scanned his surroundings. His silver hair flowed, though there wasn't any breeze. Where am I? He asked. What time is it? Stay asleep, a man's voice told him, seeming to echo off non-existent walls. He tried to sit up, but the sheer force exerted by his abdominal muscles in this weightless world. Hello, Gloria Smith. What is up today? How are you doing, gamer? I'm doing wonderful. You have chosen well to come in on the day that we have decided to truly give a quality Sychonias experience to show what to expect going forward. So where even was I? Ah yes, his abdominal muscles in this weightless world sent him spiraling into 2 somersaults before he was able to regain balance and float upright. He moved his arms and legs as though he was treading water. But since there was no water in this world, or even air for that matter, his motions only sent him further off balance. After a few minutes of experimentation, he managed to regain stability by mimicking a T-stance, truly to assert dominance. Like all true gamers. I'm also good, thanks for asking, no problem. I agree, Yoda. Great input. Since, like, you are a new streamer? No. I've been doing this for... Let me see, that was June of last year, so that was... I've done it for a certain number of months now. None of which I can specify. Because I, like Buff Riku, have the IQ of a middle pinky finger. You should remain asleep here, between light and dark, the man said. Riku quickly realized that the caveat to his method of balance was that he was upside down, as the voice was coming from somewhere above his feet. He collected himself into a ball as best he could and tried expelling air from his lungs to give himself momentum. But it only succeeded in launching him into a perpetual spin. Between what? Riku asked, trying to face the source of the voice, but not having much luck. A realization hit him as memories came flooding back. He flailed aimlessly, his powerful arms whipping about in panic. The king, he gasped. Where's the king? Where's the king? Together we closed the door to darkness, and he still owes me like 20 bucks. Oh, that Riku. Oh, that king owing our young teenager here, our young buff teenager 20 bucks. Which games do you usually play? I usually play that of the RPG variety. At least that was what I once believed, until I eventually then... I agree, Yoda, great input. Until I eventually then grew and went down a hellhole known as Hatoful Boyfriend. And now I kinda just don't even know what I even do on this channel anymore besides existing. But I know, we give quality here. After that, you came drifting here by yourself. You did not have the strength to overcome the darkness. Riku arched an eyebrow at that, self-consciously flexing one of his massive arms. The diameter of each bicep was well over 40 centimeters, let alone the limb it was attached to. Oh, I'm sorry, limb. Voice continued, or maybe you were close to it. Close to what? Riku asked. The darkness. Darkness. Riku waved a massive hand dismissively. Nah, we're just friends. That's not what I meant. Look, no offense to old Darky, but have you seen its face? Look, would you just... The man sounded frustrated, but this frustration melted into his former mysterious demeanor as he said, Turn from the light. Shut your eyes. Here, blanketed by the darkness. Sleep is safety. Sleep is eternal, but... There was a bright flash of light behind Riku. He sighed, flapping his arms in an effort to turn himself around to see what it was about. He wasn't very successful at first, flipping at an angle and only catching the light out the corner of his eye. Eventually, he got himself mostly upright, as it were, at a 45-degree angle. That was enough for him to see it. A bright blue card, its center displaying a... I agree, Yoda, great input. Its center displaying a picture of a strange and familiar castle. Shimmered so noisily, Riku wondered if it was some kind of firecracker. What's this? Can we do a collab stream in the future? What do you think about this idea? Well, unfortunately, Gloria Smith, my mother always taught me, and my father, and my sister, and even my friends nowadays that I consider complete strangers. Stranger danger. So I will have to respectfully decline. But thank you for great input. It is the door to the truth. Take it and your sleep ends as you take the first step towards the truth. But know this. Sweet, thanks, said Riku as he snatched a card. When nothing happened, he waited around a bit. How do you use this thing? Wait. Don't you want to hear the warning? Dude, tomorrow's leg day. I can skip shoulders once maybe, but I'm already way behind schedule for this week. Riku argued. The truth will bring you pain. Will you still go? The man asked. Riku bent the card a bit, ignoring the voice and puzzling how to use the card. He pinched it between his thumbs and index fingers, bending the edge of it. Maybe I have to break it. Thank you, Yoda. Great input. No, that's a collectible. Jesus, just wait a minute. A pause. There. Don't let the door between worlds hit you on the way out. By the way, do you like live 2D model? Yes, I do. But I have decided this is the path going forward. It's this wonderful artist rendition of this JPEG of me. But thank you, great input. The card began to glow brighter and brighter until it was so bright that it hurt Riku's eyes. He held it as far away from his face as he could reach. By the way, my friend has created my live 2D model. Once it's complete, I'll direct debut. Awesome to hear. I hope that goes wonderful for you, Gloria Smith. When it was over, Riku finally felt the force of real gravity pulling at his body, and he felt the floor, cracking the marble beneath his feet when he landed. He flexed, arching his back. The 15-year-old boy stood 6 feet tall at the shoulder, his form demonstrating his fondest pastime, bodybuilding, though his shorts somehow managed to stretch across his bulky thighs and rear. No single article of clothing could cover his titanic torso, which was completely bare, exposing for all to see the sheer amount of accumulated muscle. His massive gains made his head look relatively tiny in comparison, though most people avoided pointing that out when they spoke with him. As he journeyed through worlds, his swole form had granted him the admiration and envy of many. Though both sucked. I agree, Yoda. Great input. Though both sides agreed on what nickname felt fit best. Now, Buff Riku found himself in some sort of basement, just puzzling on how to escape. The walls were bleached white, with ornate fixtures and columns forming a symmetrical pattern around the room. A beige door sat at the end of the room at the top of a few stairs. What lay beyond was anyone's guess. Riku quickly realized that he had no idea where he was. He looked at the door, then looked at the card. They didn't seem to be connected in any way, shape, or form. They weren't even remotely the same color, and the door didn't have a card-shaped keyhole or anything. What the heck was he supposed to do with it? Yet there didn't seem to be any alternative exit. He walked up to the door and banged his heavy fist on it, so hard it shuddered at the hinges. Hello? Anyone home? He looked behind himself. There was only a blank wall. He reached up his hand and knocked louder, but luckily that same fist was holding the card. Once it was close enough to the door, it burst into light with the sound of a delicate glass wind chime being smashed. The door pushed open and Riku was able to enter. Would you like to get a live 2D model made for yourself? I can ask my friend to create it for you as a friend. No, I'm good. I already got one, but I relinquished it for our much more, what we call, quality picture here. But I appreciate you asking. He walked up to the door. Oh, I already read that. Riku nodded and said, all according to Keikaku. Haha, by the way, Keikaku means plan. He cracked the knuckles of one massive hand and the other and said, yeah, alright, let's do this. Stepped past the door. Behind him, the door vanished. Riku looked around. I agree, Yoda. Great input. He was in a world of pale granite and purple stone. An ancient castle held together by rustic pipes and steam. Ooh, it's getting steamy. It was sunset, and the perpetually fading light cast a red-orange glow on the shambling architecture. Electricity twirled visibly through the air, holding up platforms and shuffling them around periodically. If you give me your SoCales, well, unfortunately, Gloria Smith, I don't know what a SoCale is. The door vanished. Riku looked around. Oh, I already read that. Something occurred to Riku. Surroundings were, of course, rather familiar. Wait a second, this is Hollow Bastion. he remarked to himself. What you see is not real, the man said. Geez, you're still here, Riku complained. Shut up. This is the world of your memory. My memory? Riku scratched his head. No wonder everything was floating around. His memory had been that great since that one time he tried working out without a spotter. Oh, we've all been there. The things you remember from your time at Maleficent's castle became a card. The card became this world. Zaworldo, gamers! Ha 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 ha. The things you remember. I agree, Yoda. Great input. Riku nodded, tugging at his foot, which had been caught in the apparently melting stone underneath him. Some aspects of it leave a bit to be desired, even. Still, you have seen everything here before, haven't you? Riku looked around. He scratched his head. I'll take your word for it. I mean, yeah, totally. But, what now? I don't see anyone here. Gloria Smith, here's my personal Discord. Well, thank you, Gloria Smith. But unfortunately, I've got no interest. Where even was I? Ah, there we are. You would meet the people in your memories ordinarily. Ordinarily, Riku asked. Frankly, your memories are so I agree, Yoda. Great input. Frankly, your memories are so messed up and jumbled that I have no idea who the hell you'll meet or if they'll be remotely similar to the people that are in real life. Sir, this is a children's story. Oh, you think I'm senile, huh? Is that right? Riku asked, shaking his fist at the sky. As he shook, the air around his arm became thick and vicious. Vicious air. I wonder what can occur at this time. A clear gelatinous substance started flying everywhere, landing on the granite with audible plops. It slowly evaporated after making contact with the ground, bubbling as it did. Well, I'm asking you a question. Voice in my head. Answer me, Riku demanded. He stopped making angry gestures after a blob of goo landed on his perfect six-pack abdomen. He had to bite his lip to stop from laughing as it tickled him. But when he tried to scrape it off, his hand phased right through it. Oh, okay, Riku said, shrugging. Well, I'm out of here. And he ran off. This imperfect world has also had a population of imperfect heartless. They lunged at Riku, the fleas, and swarmed around him like mosquitoes. Though the nature of this world meant they moved with lethargy, I believe that's too big of a word for Riku. But alright. Often getting tangled up in the strange and gelatinous atmosphere. I need some more shrimp chips. Oh. Alright. Where even was I? There we go. Given his limited range of motion, slashing the heart-lived soul eater wasn't a great use of his time. Feeling almost like hunting houseflies with a toothpick. I agree, Yoda. Great input. Said he started smashing their heads in with his bare fists, which proved simpler and more effective. I mean, look, if Beast can do it, why not Riku? I thought that was always what he should have done in the games. Now, ordinarily, Heartless wouldn't be vulnerable to strikes made with a non-anime weapon, but Riku didn't remember that, and this was a world of his memories, after all. Truly, this is what we call a wonderful good writing. Some may say it's a loophole. I say those people are full of bullshit. I'm sorry, give me a sec. Alright. Eventually, you battled through enough rooms to finally come across the weight room. Oh boy, my personal territory. In the very basement of Hollow Bastion, which, strangely enough, was connected directly to the balcony 4 floors up. Rico didn't think too hard about the geometry of it all. He was just happy enough to find his gear. He inhaled the stench of stale sweat and sighed contentedly. Everything is just how I remember it. Even this room. You were supposed to find your old bedroom, not your weight room. You didn't even have a weight room, you just slept on the bench press. Oh hey, you're back, man. If you could, like, actually come here rather than just being a voice, that'd be awesome. Because then you could spot me. Rico said, immediately taking up 2 solid 50-kilo dumbbells, oh my goodness, and doing bicep curls. Do you miss Maleficent? After all, she's the one that gave you any weights to lift. All the while you were tempted by the power of the... I agree, Yoda. Great input. By the power of the darkness. I don't know who you're talking about, but I do remember living here once. I'm pretty sure the reason I came here was that it was more convenient than using the gym in Traverse Town. The membership fees there are like 2,000 money. Oh my goodness. Hold on a minute. How much does a potion in Kingdom Hearts 1 cost? Let's go to the wiki here to help us out. These ads will be the death of me. Well, they can drop from air soldiers. I agree, Yoda. Great input. Here, we will go off the AI overview. Which, generally, I wouldn't trust this, like, as far as I could throw it. But... here, let's go to the Destiny Islands instead. So we go off the, I think we finally found a source that we can trust. Now granted, it's the peddler shop, who is a absolute swine in Kingdom Hearts 1. But if we go off his prices, it costs about 60 money, trusting DestinyIslands.com here. Like 2,000 money, so that's the equivalent of... So like if it's like 2,000 money. Alright, so 2,000. Oh wait, that's a dot. I didn't even need to put that. So we do like 2,000. And we keep minusing it by 60. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, no, it's not going down. Alright, well here. This will make it simpler. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I agree, Yoda, great input. Wait, what was I on? Ah, crap, we gotta start over. That was minus by 6. It's a lot. Thank you, Yoda. Great input. I think if I were to summarize, that's probably the equivalent of at least 400 potions. He muttered under his breath. Effin' Moogles run the whole damn town. Riku, that's racist. You can't call the Muggles that. But But you left your home, your family behind, all for what? Half-decent equipment? Probably, I mean. When I was lifting back on Destiny Islands, I had to bench press 3 trunks. Tree trunks! Apologies, gamers. My hands got so many splinters, they called me treant. Now that's racist. And one time, a hive of bees fell right on my pecs. This is the type of swole you do not want. Oh man, that sounds awful. I hate bees. I also hate bees. Press 1 in the chat if you also hate bees. It's fine, I'll wait. Forget it, I'll do it myself. I agree, Yoda. Great input. There was a pause in conversation as Riku proceeded to do 80 reps in a row on both arms, silently wishing he'd remembered heavier weights. So, how long are you going to stay here? Riku shrugged. There isn't that much more I can do without a spotter, and to be honest, these weights are getting kind of flimsy, he added, shaking the steel dumbbell to illustrate. It flopped around like a half-cooked noodle. Maybe there's stuff I'd remember better somewhere else. Riku set the weights down and got up, trotting onward, having barely broken a sweat. After a few more rounds of pummeling, Riku found himself in the central chamber of Hollow Bastion. It was circular, with a fountain at the center, the bronze spigot in the shape of a roaring lion's head. A mirrored set of stairs, both as halves of a semicircle, led up from the ground of the room up to the second floor. Riku stood on a balcony. It creaked under his weight. Are there only heartless in this castle? Riku asked as he dropped down to the ground floor. He landed with a thud that sent tremors through the nearby columns. Maybe I could teach one of them to spot me, he mused. Unfortunately, Riku, I think most heartless, unless they're heavyweights, are quite frankly, twinks, as the kids like to say today. He walked over to the fountain, waiting for the man behind the voice to speak up and say something pointless and irrelevant. I could see Riku has also played Kingdom Hearts 2. When it didn't, he sighed and began to walk out. I bet you're wondering where the people from your memories are. Riku shrugged. No, not really. Not really, no, he said. Not many people that came from this place are really worth remembering. Probably. You're saying you're abandoning them? That you'd rather not see them ever again? Riku scratched the back of his head. If you're talking about Sora and Kairi, then I'm pretty sure I'll see them again no matter what. Sora follows me around like a lost puppy. That's because he's your gay lover. And Kairi, well, he flexes his huge muscles unabashedly. I've caught her looking. Now let's say, all the others, well, I can do without, really. All I want out of life is to get as buff as possible. I'm sure I can get someone else to spot me. Then why the hell, hey, language. Do not make me turn this gummy ship around. Then why the hell did you pass through the door to darkness? Darkness. Why'd you fight Sora in the first place? Riku tapped his index finger on his tiny chin. Good question. As far as I remember, I thought that the powers of the darkness would make me even more swole. When I found out they didn't, I said, see ya. Seems pretty straightforward to me. What's hard to understand is why you're seeing Hollow Bastion at all when you apparently don't care about it in the least. Well, I mean, I did have some great workouts here. Probably made some nice gains, Riku said. I mean, Maleficent isn't that bad a spotter. I agree, Yoda. Great input. When she had the time. Where is she anyway? Hell if I know. Just keep smashing your way through the castle. If you run out of rooms, call me. I'm going to take a shower. Riku nodded and jogged out of the chamber. There are showers in Kingdom Hearts, apparently. Hashtag Not my Kingdom Hearts. I just believe that everyone in Kingdom Hearts just smelled like sweaty, hot-blooded anime. I agree, Yoda. Great input. A few dozen club or heartless later, Riku found Maleficent's throne room. Throne room? I thought that said phone room. Ha 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 ha. Silly me. The Dark Fairy sitting cross-legged on her throne, hot. She had neglected to put on her formal attire, and was instead wearing a blood-red nightgown, even more hot. Mug of tea, long since empty, sat at the base of the throne. With the phrase, "I really wish I weren't here right now," painted on the side. In her left hand, she held open a magazine, World Domination Weekly. Is that because she's so bad at it she needs advice? In the other, she held her staff, which she was presently using to pick her teeth. She set the bulky toothpick down when she saw Riku and rolled her eyes. Oh, good heavens, for the last time, I will not spot you again. You nearly took my foot off the last time. Some of those weights are heavier than me. Excuse me, folks. Give me a second. Riku grinned sheepishly. Yeah, I know. Just stopping by, I swear. Something occurred to him. Wait, aren't you supposed to be, like, dead? The vile sorceress threw back her head in exasperation. Riku, I swear you haven't retained a single modicum of information. Now Maleficent, you can't use the big fancy words with them. Since you got here, I'm a figment of your memory, same as all the rest. She straightened out her magazine, even as it began to melt a bit. Melt? Apparently you remember me as some bratty ingrate who reads manuals on how to take over the world, but suppose I won't really be able to convince you otherwise, now will I? Hey, I must remember you pretty well, since you're literally the only other person in this castle. Got him, Riku said. I'm not people, I'm a fairy, you imbecile, Maleficent said, switching the order of her crossed legs. Hot. Frankly, I'd prefer not to be remembered, since the only reason I'm here in the first place. I agree, Yoda. Great input. Is because you're obsessed with forcing me to ensure that you don't crush yourself during one of your 5 times a day workouts. Heaven forbid I even once ask you to renounce your friends and family, train in dark arts, or even fetch the morning paper. You're worse of a freeloader than Pete. Damn. That has gotta hurt. Man, I didn't think I remembered your feeling so strongly about this, Riku said. The witch folded back her newspaper, looking at Riku entirely bemused. You remember me extremely kindly. I'd like to think that the real me would be hitting you upside the head right now, you disgusting pile of flesh. She resumed reading. At any rate, I have no interest in you. You're a failure as a disciple, and you're an investment as an investment of my precious time. If you would, please leave this world so that I may once again experience the bliss of non-existence. Riku smiled weakly, turning around and walking away with his hand on the back of his head. You did make the best mincemeat pies, though, Maleficent. That's because you never asked what was in them. Riku grimaced. Good point. Y'all remember the Grimace Shake? I remember when it killed like 10,000 people and McDonald's was kinda pissed. Good times. Now get out of my house. Right, Riku said. He all told the door and considered, how? Oh, hold on guys, I gotta take a texting break. My sibling is texting me. We are sending some dank memes between each other. Anyway. Where was even I then again? Ah, there. Right, Riku. Oh. Now get out of my house. Right, Riku said. He walked towards the door and considered, how? Maleficent rolled her eyes again. Must I explain everything for you? You want to punch me square in the jaw and kill me. I'm the boss of this world, after all. Whoa, isn't that a little extreme? Riku said, turning around to look back at her. I mean, I don't have any... I agree, Yoda. Great input. Okay, we're only 40 minutes of that. Man, time sure to fly, chat. I mean, yes, don't blame me. I'm the one in charge. By some definitions, I don't really exist at all, Lissette said, turning to the centerfold of her paper. So get it over with. The anticipation is annoying me. Jeez, Mally. It's funny how this is now... We played Tales of Grace F Remastered, and Malik's nickname in that is Mally. And now we have two of these. I find that quite humorous. We both know I'm way stronger than you. He looked at the ceiling. Hey, voice guy, cut me a break. I agree, Yoda. Great input. Us two are pals, you know. Meanwhile, Maleficent had her head in her hand, a vein on her temple bulging out of frustration. That's disgusting. That's less hot. There was fury in her small, sarcastic smile. You know I hate that. That stupid pet name. Two tendrils of dark energy swirled around her robes. Wisps of green fire floating in the air around her. That sounds like a D&D spell. Isn't it like... Here, let me look at it up on my phone real quick. Isn't it called, like, Dark Tendrils or something? Let me see. No, what if I... Isn't there a spell literally just called... Oh, yes! Evard's Black Tentacles! It's from the player's handbook. It's a level 4 spell. It's School's Conjuration. It's one action, range is 90 feet. It's verbal, semantic, and requires material. I agree, Yoda. Great input. And it requires a piece of tentacle from a giant octopus or a giant squid. Or you could just be like everyone, get a component pouch and save everyone the headache. Concentration, up to 1 minute. The classes that can use this are Fighter, Eldritch Knight, nice, Rogue, Arcane Trickster, and Wizard. Which I only think the reason Rogue can do that is just because he can technically steal it. Squirming ebony black tentacles fill a 20-foot square on the ground that you see within range. For the duration, these tentacles turn the ground in the area into difficult terrain. When a creature enters the affected area for the first time on a turn, or starts a turn there, the creature must succeed on a dexterity saving throw, take 3d6 bludgeoning damage, and be restrained by the tentacles until the spell ends. That actually sounds quite nice. I might use this. A creature that starts its turn in the area and is already restrained by the tentacles takes 3d6 bludgeoning damage. A creature restrained by the tentacles can use the action to make a strength or dexterity check. Its choice against your spell save DC. On a success, it frees itself. Well, that's pretty nice. Not only does it do good damage, but it also forces your opponent to waste an action. I agree, Yoda. Great input. Please excuse me, Chad. I'm about to burp again. That was a small one. I'm gonna drink some more Coke. Boop. Here. Scroll all the way down. Well, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna hit a girl. That's a true gentleman, Riku. So we need to find some other way out of here. Riku said, turning around, oblivious to the fact that the force of pure darkness seethed behind him. A mortal man would have cowered in despair at the wicked woman behind him took her ultimate form. But the green flames emanating from her ritual transformation deflected harmlessly off Riku's massive shoulders. She was about to exit the room when he heard Maleficent's voice again, this time deeper and raspier. Would you hit a dragon? He turned around before him sat Maleficent's ultimate form, herself in a dragon suit. Oh my god, Maleficent is a furry confirmed. Sort of similar to the kind people would wear at conventions, or a child's birthday party. She stood perfectly upright. The dragon suit encasing her was anthropomorphic, with its head sitting dopely inert on top, a floppy tongue hanging out the front, and the eyes on either side of the head staring in vastly different directions. Maleficent's head poked out the middle of the dragon's neck. The rest of the suit was as mediocre in construction as its head jewel, with rubber claws, saggy legs, and a bulky torso that looked enough to give any Disneyland employee dry heaves. Whoa, Riku said. Listen, I had no idea you were a furry. Thank you, Yoda. Great input. I'm not a furry, I'm Dragonkin. Dragonkin. Yes, and my name is Balthazar the Third. Maleficent yelled, stomping the ground angrily with her foot like a frustrated toddler. Force of her stomping made her entire suit ripple. In a moment of composure, she looked up at Riku, deadpan, and said, I hate you. She leapt at Riku with the full force of her draconic fury. A supremely stupid-looking charge, he sidestepped her. She lunged at him again. He stuck his arm out and held her at arm's length away while her mushy claws scraped along the rest of her feet on the carpet and her upper limbs flailed at him uselessly. After a couple of minutes of this, she stopped to catch her breath, wiping her brow with her sleeve. Gosh, it is hot in here, she remarked, tugging at the collar of her suit. Come on, Mally, I don't want to fight you, Riku said. Maleficent only fumed. Did I not just tell you to never call me that again? She leapt at him, swatting at his face with her rubber claws. Riku caught her swipe, and when she tried to break away, he held on to her costume, letting go of the hand within. Unfortunately, before he decided to let go of the costume, Maleficent pulled it off herself by breaking off a couple of claws still locked in Riku's indecisive grip. She was furious. You fiend! The costume cost me 30,000 money on Etsy. 30,000? Wait a minute now. If that costed you 30,000. So, do like 30,000. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I agree, you had a great input. Where was I again? I believe I was on 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's worth at least like 16 gym memberships. Holy cow. You could get so swole, like up to JoJo levels with that kind of raw power. It was custom commission. I was going to take it to the next festival, she screeched, backing up from his hand and trying to tackle him. He hopped aside, but before she was able to regain her balance, he grabbed the tail of her costume and held her up by it. Her body sagged to the bottom of the suit, stretching out the feeble material it was bound by, giving the impression that it was originally made for a much larger, burlier man. Let me down. If this costume rips, I agree, Yoda. Great input. Melissa, now completely red in the face, searched desperately for an avenue of threat she had already exhausted. I'll trap your fat ass in the door to darkness forever. The room instantly chilled by 20 degrees. There was a glint in Riku's eyes, his expression now deathly severe. He tossed Maleficent up in the air, then got her by the collar of her costume and pulled her close up to his face. Excuse me, guys, I gotta take a Coca-Cola drink. Did you just call me fat? Riku said. Listen blinked. Eh? Let me see. Is Yoda still here? We have about 10 minutes of Yoda left. With that, the room shook as Riku uppercut Maleficent with such titanic force that she crashed through the many floors above him in a hollow bastion and sailed off to the distance. Shoryuken, as one may say. Riku, satisfied, dusted off his palms. A little black card, similar to the one he had used earlier, floated down before him. On it was a picture of Maleficent in her dragon suit, though she was a tad blurry. Whoever took the photo must have snapped at the instant her face hit the ceiling. Riku shrugged and put it in his back pocket. Maybe it'd be useful later. Seeing nothing left to do and having no interest in Maleficent's mug or magazine, he left the chamber. He exited the throne room to find himself walking straight back to the room he'd started in at the beginning of all this. A pale white ornate chamber. The door closed behind him before he thought to hold it open, but after a moment of consideration, Riku realized he had in fact progressed. Though the room he'd entered had the exact same layout as the one he'd left. This time, there was a door behind him, and in front of him. Oh, the choices we will have. It was the only feature distinguishing between the two rooms. I agree, Yoda, great input. But also, everyone, it's time to say goodbye to Yoda. Thank you very much, Bricken. One hour silence occasionally broke up by sitcom laugh tracks. Oh, I think this is perfect. I love this wonderful individual right here. Thank you, Dan Dorito. You will also get a like. There we go. Riku sniffed the air. Something smelled. It was a heavy smell, thick and humid, like a sauna, or warm lotion, or spicy floral cologne. He knew who owned that smell. He grimaced, turning away from the door. Why do you shun the darkness? Riku took a deep breath. Look, I know you saw everything that went on with Maleficent. Can we cut straight to the point? I think you know that at this point, I'm not going to take no for an answer. Darkness is your weapon. You must accept it. Riku shrugged. Okay, darkness exists. That's not what I meant. Riku laughed. Well, how the turntables. Oh ho, that's tricky, Riku. Stop resisting. Accept the darkness. You have no choice. A black portal opened in front of Riku. It quickly dissipated. Revealing the Lord of Darkness himself, he wore a V-neck collared, long-sleeved shirt with thin vertical stripes running down the otherwise black fabric. Hot. The V was so deep that it left the majority of his dark olive chest exposed. Even hotter. Almost down to his navel. His top was tucked into a thick belt, accentuating his hourglass figure. He wore pants. Oh, a shame he wore that. As dark as a starless night, as well as jet black loafers with red soles. His steel gray hair was tied in a long ponytail that hung down past his shoulders, emblazoned as his belt buckle was the heartless insignia. Now materialized, he finished the sentence he had started as a voice. If you are to, totally be mine again, oh my. Handsome, Riku growled, taking a few steps toward the center of the room. I'm surprised you chose to disguise yourself this long. Aw, shucks. Looks like you missed me after all, Handsome said, tipping his great fedora in Riku's general direction. Did you know that they offer theater classes in Traverse Town? I was supposed to be in a production even. I had to cancel though, because I found out that I was busy during rehearsals. You know, with the whole drowning every single world in darkness thing, but still something I really want to do. So while I've been in your heart, I've been practicing. Neat, huh? I think I've gotten pretty good. Shooting for that whole mysterious narrator role. Riku face palmed. All you've been talking about is darkness this, darkness that. It gets old, you know. Ansem puffed, blowing a few strands of hair out from in front of his face. Oh, that's rich, Mr. Protein Shake over here calling me a one-trick pony. Riku sighed, folding his arms and said in voice. Great input, audience. Voice dripping with sarcasm. I can't even guess what you're here for. Ansem's eyes lit up. He strode closer to Riku. One foot perfectly in front of the other, as though he was a dancing tango. Oh, that sounds like fun. Come on, guess, he said excitedly. Next to Riku, who was half a meter taller. Ansem looked comparatively tiny. But that didn't seem to faze him. Riku put a hand on his chin, stroking it as he thought. Didn't Ansem just say what he wanted me to do? He thought, it wasn't that hard to guess anyway. I'm guessing you want me to rejoin you in your quest or something. Close, Ansem said, daintily skirting around to Riku's side. The Dark Lord seemed to be as light as a feather. What I actually want, though in clearer words, is for you to call me, He hopped up and lingered in the air for a moment, his lips right by Riku's ear as he said with a drastically lowered and sudden voice, Daddy. I need a drink of Coca-Cola here for a second. Alright. Riku tried to swat Ansem away, but his attack was effortlessly dodged. Ansem arched his back at an unnatural angle to evade, holding onto his fedora and doing a backflip, landing perfectly a few feet away. Ew, gross. Agreed, Riku said. Being around you makes me feel like I'm being constantly coated in slime. Oh my. Just layering it on, all over me, all over my chest. Ansem said with music in his voice, covering his mouth as he laughed. My, I might take you up on that. It wasn't an offer, Riku said. Ansem shrugged. In any case, I tip my hat to you. He tipped. I knew you'd be the one who'd most appropriately service me. He held out his arm. Now be a good boy and come home to Daddy. Riku's response, of course, was to raise his fist and yell, way too creepy! Like the one move in Final Fantasy VII, the original. We do not want to be bad touched. Because bad touch makes Cloud sad. Before charging at Ansem, he undercut toward the nimble fiend's dainty chin. But before the strike landed, Ansem vanished and appeared behind him. Yeah, Riku, flex for me, he said as he dodged each of his opponent's strikes, sidestepping, ducking under, or leaping over them, and at one point leaping over Riku and stepping on his head. Get your freak on, baby, he yelled. Riku leapt back, panting and pointing at Ansem. You're the ones that's gonna get freaked on. Before Riku could realize his gaffe, Ansem pursed his lips and made a kissing noise. He was in his right hand to hold up a V sign next to his mouth. You can freak on me anytime you like, Freak. I need a drink of Coca-Cola. Okay. Riku yelled in frustration and charged Ansem again. This time the Lord of Darkness leapt up around Riku's head and wrapped his legs around the teen's neck, strangling him. Riku struggled to get free, but found that Ansem's grip was strong as titanium. Titanium, or Ti. Titanium is a metal in group IVB of the periodic table with the atomic number 22, an atomic weight of 47.90. That's quite a bit. Can't breathe. Thighs. Too strong. Riku was blue in the face after a couple of seconds. What with how hungry his muscles were for oxygen. Remember, people, during your workouts, make sure you give your body plenty of rest. That is the most important part to growth. Honestly, Riku, to think that you could harm me at your level is actually kinda cute, he said with a giggle. He eventually let go of Riku and leapt away, leaving him a choking mess on the floor as he struggled to regain his breath. Maybe you should try something more your speed, like, He looked up, scratching his chin with an index finger, as he thought. His eyes lit up in inspiration. Oh, I know, we should do yoga together. There's this great new place by the Coliseum. Riku chose not to listen, instead covering his ears with its beefy palms. His efforts didn't save him from Ansem coming over and stepping on his face with his loafer. Are you even listening? Gosh, he said as he leapt back before Riku could grab his leg. Excuse me for not wanting to listen to your nonsense, Riku replied. Pulling himself back to his feet, he pointed... Thank you, audience. Great input. Pointed his chest with his thumb. I am a man. What men do is 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 squats every day, with a little running on the side. Pointing at Ansem, you promised me that the darkness made me strong. It didn't. It just made me emo. But, he said, pointing at the ground, if you want to go surfing, then we'll talk. It's impolite to point, you know, Ansem said, rolling his eyes and flipping his hair behind his shoulder. He raised an eyebrow at Riku's suggestion. Surfing, though. Really? Something I've always really wanted to try, Riku declared. He flexed both his upper arms, his entire body sparkling as he demonstrated his superior fitness. Because even when I'm not possessed by darkness, I'm still a total show-off. Surfing is fine. It's the beach I can't stand, Ansem said, sticking out his tongue. Why is that? Riku asked, returning to normal standing position. Excuse me, audience. I hate sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere, Ansem explained. Riku shrugged. I mean, that's pretty dumb, but it's whatever, I guess. Ooh, got him. So is that a note on yoga? Ansem asked. I'm too busy making massive gains to bother with that, Riku said. And everyone, as someone that has been doing the yogas, it is quite beneficial, and if you're like me and you've been told your entire life your flexibility is trash, well, now's the time to fix it. Yikes, Ansem remarked, arching both his eyebrows and biting his bottom lip in symphony. Your tendons are going to be like fireworks. I can hear them now, pop, pop, snap. You keep my tendons out of this, Riku demanded. From seemingly nowhere, a new voice spoke up. Riku's right. His tendons have nothing to do with this. This is a battle between light and darkness. There's a shimmering noise and a ball of light descended from the ceiling. Riku looked up in shock as it approached him. That voice, your mousiness. The ball of light cleared its throat. Ahem, your majesty, Riku. Oh, that Riku. It floated in a circle around him. Remember, Riku, you're not alone. Listen close. The light will never give up on you. You'll always find it, even in the deepest wah. It didn't get to finish, as in that moment, Riku snatched the orb out of the air and threw it right at Ansem's stupid face. Take this! It whizzed right past the target, ruffling Ansem's ponytail a bit before Thank you, audience, for your input. Ruffling Ansem's ponytail as a bit before smashing the wall and shattering. I cannot believe Mickey Mouse is fucking dead. Ansem looked back at the dent in the wall and made wide-eyed. That wasn't in the script, he mumbled to himself. Could have just turned back to Riku, faking a laugh. But you just threw away your only chance at victory against me. Like, bravo. I'll never lose to the darkness, and I don't need an anthropomorphic mouse with a copyright fetish to tell me so, Riku said. Pfft, whatever, Ansem said. He shrugged, dropping his hands to his sides. You're still not getting past me. Not even that little blip of light could save you from my darkness. Riku readied himself, taking a low stance, ready to strike. Ansem, meanwhile, yawned a bit, pushing his fedora down on his head, trying as best he could to look unimpressed. There was a pause. Both warriors, classic rivals, waiting to see what the other would do. It's almost like a Soul Calibur match, or Tekken, where both players just keep circling, waiting for someone to actually throw the fucking punch. Ansem acted first. He leapt forward, sticking out his fist. Riku was quick to react, sticking out his fist to meet Ansem's. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot! Truly the game of champions. As Tzu once said, if fights cannot be won through physical and medieval means, then one must play the mental gymnastics game of rock, paper, scissors. This was said after he got up from after falling off the cliff and getting shot in the eye on his tricycle, to then having a piece of paper fly on his face, suffocating him and killing him even further. Pay respects to Tzu. This time it was Ansem who was caught off guard by Riku's rock. Wait a minute. Where even am I? Ansem had the upper hand, choosing paper over Riku's rock. Riku gasped, staggering backward, but quickly recovered and met Ansem on the field again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. This time it was Ansem who was caught off guard by Riku's rock, completely countering his scissors. Counter! He was shocked and grasped by his non-existent heart, his fedora almost falling off. Ready to give up? Riku asked. Ansem shook it off. Not a chance. They met once more, arm to arm, both fighters wounded, both far from giving up. They each had one final shot at victory, one chance for each to prove to the other that he was indeed the best, or at least better than the other one. I would make a comment on that. But I think the story did a good job clarifying that. Thank you, Buff Riku. Where even was I? There we are. They readied themselves. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Their yells echoed through the chamber. Gusts of wind somehow creating a cloud of dust and debris in the formerly spotless chamber. It took a few seconds to settle. Riku sneezed, but kept his position firm as he waited to see his fate. He held his hands steady, his rock against Ansem's. Riku's eyes opened wide. It was a tie. Nani. Masaka. Bakana. Impossible. Riku and Ansem both grit their teeth, each staring the other dead in the eye. Despite the situation, Ansem snickered, daintily brushing some stray hairs out in front of his face. We both know how this is going to end, Riku. Riku rubbed his palms together, warming them for luck. In this moment, it was as if the weight of the entire world hung on the next throw. He smiled confidently, the chamber's unnatural light glinting off its pearly whites, so bright caused lens flare. It said, "No spoilers. Stillness on the battlefield." "Rock," Riku said, his polished arm holding his clenched fist high. "Paper," Ansem replied, winding his stance and holding onto his hat with his offhand. "Scissors," both men said, wind whirling around them, though only Ansem was wearing enough clothing that it dramatically flapped about. "Shoot!" And when all was said and done, Riku chose rock, and Ansem chose scissors. "Yes," Riku yelled in victory. jumping and pointing his index finger straight up. Unfortunately, the ceiling was so low that he stubbed it. Ow, 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 ow. See, now I believe this is a writing inconsistency. Because unless this implies that they are both giants, in the original Kingdom Hearts, Chain of Memories, Castle Oblivion, that roof was at least like 15 foot upward. Now where even was I? There we go, yes. He yelled, shaking his injured digit before biting on the knuckle. He didn't let it spoil his victory, though. I win, he stated, pointing his non-stubbed index finger straight at Ansem. Psh, Ansem said, looking away and trying his best to look disinterested. Enjoy your victory while it lasts. Riku scratched his forehead. Wait, doesn't this mean I get to, like... Ha 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 ha. Thank you for input, audience. Banish you from my heart forever? I won! Best 2 out of 3! Ansem scratched his forehead. Wait, that was Riku. Ansem arched his eyebrow at Riku, then rapped his knuckles on his temple. Oh, when did I ever say it was the best 2 out of 3? It's always best 2 out of 3, you cheater, Riku yelled. Aw, didn't I get you excited? Ansem asked with a pouty tone. I suppose I shouldn't be too hard on you. It is true that almost all the rules in the universe are arbitrary and stupid, but he giggled, winking at him condescendingly. Everyone knows that. So if it's not best 2 out of 3, then what is it? Riku demanded. Ansem threw out both his arms in a shrug and opened his right eye, casting a smug glance back at his rival. Best 7 out of 13. Riku growled in a bit of frustration. Fine then, come at me. I'd come at you all day if I could, Ansem said, but fighting in the depths of this ugly human basement is just horrible for my mood and my complexion. Tell you what, pulled a card out of his back pocket, at least what Riku hoped was his back pocket, and tossed it at him. Take this and meet me upstairs. We'll finish our duel, if you make it that far. Riku caught the card. What, wussing out already? Ansem laughed. That would be a bit premature. Look, bad as your memory might be, I hope you remember how these cards work. At least, take that one and, advance through the castle and stuff. Along the way, I hope you'll learn a thing or two about light and darkness. Light and darkness. Rule number 1. Stuck out his hand, holding up one index finger. Running from the darkness won't distance you from the light. Riku was about to retort, but paused. Something about that last sentence didn't seem quite right. Ansem blinked. He held up an index finger and said, Sec. He turned to the side and hunched over, trying to use his hand to disguise the fact that he was looking at an index card that was almost entirely black with ink. Oh, bollocks. Riku scratched his temple. What? Look, never mind. I need some beauty sleep or something, Ansem mumbled, putting the card away. Character resumed, he added. Just climb those some stairs and get back to me, okay? Riku folded his arms. Ansem had lost a bit of his menacing glow. Look, I'm not even running from anything. I don't give a crap. Riku. Language. About light and darkness. So I'll climb to the top of this castle like you ask. But if in the end I still don't care, would you please just leave me the hell alone? Ansem shrugged. Suit yourself. See now people, we run off elementary school rulings here. Because hell is a Christian word, that is not a swear on these grounds. Suit yourself, but there's one more thing I have for you. A little see you soon present. He reached out his hand and did some sort of hocus-pocus gesture. Suddenly, Riku felt as if there was a hand inside his chest, squishing around his organs. It didn't feel painful, just uncomfortable. Dark aura seeped from his chest. He staggered back a bit, clutching at it. His entire body felt feverish. But bad touch, Riku yelled. Bad touch made Cloud sad. Oh, don't be like that. You know you love it, Ansem said, grinning. And there, just did some spring cleaning. I remember spring cleaning. I remember exclusively from one of my favorite movies ever, The Mummy. Where basically the main character came into the room, said spring cleaning at a guy who was robbing the place, and as he ran away, he threw a chair at him. It was quite humorous. You should find that the darkness you hid away is all nice and presentable now, he winked. Try it sometime. It's quite a rush. Told you that I don't care about the darkness. Riku swooned a bit as a wave of nausea hit him. Yuck! Ansem held up his hands in a shrug. Look, all I did was move some things around. Your heart is, like, totally disorganized. Good luck when you're 40. By the way, you'll have to do some serious digging for the triple bypass, he yawned. Anyway, whether you use it or not is up to you. But it's time for my noon o'clock, so he did a quick heel turn and held up his hand in a wave as he walked towards the door away from Riku. Thank you for great input, audience. Ta! A dark portal rose up from the ground, just in time for Ansem to step into it. The darkness enveloped him, and when it disappeared, he was gone. Riku shook off the sickness and inspected the card Ansem had given him. Looked like the same card as before, but the picture inside was blank. Carried the same disgusting scent as Ansem. Oh, that smelly bitch. So Riku held it far from his nose. Flipped it over, an orange Sharpie to contrast the blue on the card was a note. 555-030-6969. Call me. XOXO Ansem. Riku heaved a sigh. At least it'll disappear when I use it to open the door. And so it did, as Riku found when he began to leave the lowest basement of the castle behind. The light of progress shone upon his face so bright he had to cover his eyes before he stepped through the portal leading forward. Now guys, what kind of content creator would I be if I did not bother actually dialing in this phone number? So I'm gonna place this close up to to my mic. 555-030-6969, and we shall put this on speaker. Oh, I accidentally punched in the wrong number. Here, let's try again. They fucking lied to me. The bastards. What is this? I give you my time, my effort. I even backpedaled my quality to make this stream exclusively special, and you fucking lie to me. How even long is this chapter? How long is this chapter? Long enough for me to not give a shit, that's what. So, will we come back to this? I don't know. But this has been Buff Riku Chain of Muscles by Buff Riku. At least chapter 1. So with that, I thank you all for coming today. Now trust me, while the stream may say BRB, we're not coming back. I can guarantee you, we are not coming back at all. I'm not about to just turn all of this off, have everything keep running in the background, and then pull back up the stream so we'll actually play some Tales of Graces today. Absolutely not. That would be worthless. That'd be terrible. That'd be god-awful. Who on earth would want to watch Tales of Graces? And with like actual effort and somewhat decent decenter mic quality. Trash. Hooligans. Scum. That is who. So do not stick around at all when I put it on BRB. Leave. You Neanderthals. Do not at all stick around for the actual endgame prep of Tales of Graces F Remastered, played by your wonderful host here, Sychonias, who I also go by Psych. Because this is the future of our channel now. Because this is, like Sonic Unleashed, what we call #art. And so, if we ever come back to this abomination though, apparently we get to meet Gexian. Man, I love Gex. It was a PS1 platformer that honestly was pretty decent and pretty funny at points. Also cringe as fuck, but that's what made it so good. So, I thank you gamers. Thank you very much for coming for my read-through of Chapter 1 of Buffriku Chain of Muscles. It has been a time. It has been a time and a half. And I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful... no, we're not even ever going to wish you. I'm not going to wish you a wonderful night anymore. I hope you have a bad night. Because people, as we've proven today, when we go back in quality, when we backpedal, we truly come out better, and we come out on top. And I know something is coming from me as well. BRB. Except not really.